everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we'll be completing in today's video. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, before we get started, there are a few things you need to download for this drawing. There is the paper texture, the custom stippling brush, and the color palette. They're totally free to download. They're linked in the description below. For the paper texture, just save that to your iPad somewhere so that you can access it later. For the brush, open up your brush library. Whatever folder you're in is where your brush will save. So if you have a special folder that you like to keep your brushes in, like a custom folder, go ahead and find that. And then go ahead and click the plus icon in the top right, click import, and then find the brush wherever you downloaded it on your iPad to import it that way. For the color palette, just double tap the file that downloads and it'll automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same color as you follow along with the video today. I will warn you, it is just one color, a dark gray color. So if you don't want to upload the whole color palette into your color palettes and clog those up, I will show you how to find the color later on when we use it, so you don't need the color palette if you don't want to add it. I will also post the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we will get started. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. So if you downloaded the color palette, this is what it should look like. You have your one dark gray color. If you didn't download it, that's totally okay. You don't need to have downloaded it. I'll show you how to find this color. So the first thing that we're going to do though is lay down our paper texture. So to do that, we are just going to be on layer 1. We are going to click the gear icon in the top left. Under add, click insert a file, and then find the paper texture file wherever you downloaded it. Maybe you saved it to your photos even, so you might need to click add a photo instead of add a file. But we will just add it here. Make sure that this is set to uniform, and then I'm just going to drag this blue dot on the top middle up to expand it so that it covers our entire background. Do the same thing on the bottom till it's all covered. Then go ahead and click the arrow tool to turn that off, and now we are left with our background here. Okay, so now we will just get straight into drawing our diamond shape first that will act as our outline, and then we'll start drawing everything else. So we are going to go to our layer menu. We are going to add a new layer right above this one, and then we are going to grab our dark gray color. So depending on what color picker you like to use, I like to use classic. So I just drag all the way to the left, no matter what color this is on, it doesn't matter. I drag all the way to the left and then down quite a bit, not all the way to the bottom. This is black, so just up a ways from that. So this is the color that I'm on, so you can find that on the color picker here, or on your color palette if you downloaded it, or the value of it is 2A, 2A, 2A if you want to enter that here. So however you need to get to it, get your nice dark gray color. And now we're going to turn on Symmetry to help us get our diamond shape. So to do that, we will go to the gear icon in the top left. Under Canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide, and then click Edit Drawing Guide. Select Symmetry here. And then under Options, we are going to set it to Quadrant Symmetry, and then go ahead and click Done. Then on our layer here, we want to make sure that it says Assisted on it. If it does not, go ahead and click on it and turn on Drawing Assist. That just means the symmetry is active for this layer. Okay, and then we want to make one more change to this layer. Instead of it being normal, click on this N. It is set to normal now. We are going to switch it to linear burn. That just helps with this dark gray color. It makes it look more black, but then we can also still see the paper texture a little bit underneath it. So that is what we're going to set every layer to, linear burn. So now it should say LB right here. And now we are going to grab our pen, which we are going to start with the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. Go ahead and set it to about 40%. And to draw our diamond shape, we are going to start at the very top here on this middle line, just a little ways down from the top of our canvas. Start right on the middle line there. Draw down and to the right to meet our horizontal line and make our diamond shape. hold it down until it turns into a perfectly straight line, and then just find a good angle that you like. If you touch your finger on the screen, it'll snap to certain angles. This one's obviously way too wide, but this one's pretty close. I might just make it a little bit wider, so I'll snap it to that angle and then let that go and just widen it just a little bit from there. Let your pen go, but then click Edit Line at the top, and then we can adjust to make sure that all of our points line up nicely. So on the top and right, we can't see how they line up very well because of our dots being there unless you zoom in really far. So zoom in really far, and then we can adjust these so that they make a very nice little point there. Same thing on the top, zoom in quite a bit, and then make sure those come together nicely. And then with symmetry turned on, it'll look the same on the left and bottom too. They will look nice and pointy there. So just make sure your lines are set where you would like them. Okay, then we will grab our brush tool again, but now we will turn off symmetry. So we can turn off the drawing guide so that we don't see our lines anymore. So that is by going to the gear icon in the top left under Canvas, click to turn off the drawing guide. That doesn't, however, turn symmetry off. This layer is still assisted, and we want to turn that off as well. So find the layer on your layer menu, click on it, and turn off drawing assist. Okay, and now we're going to make our horizon line with now the symmetry is turned off. So same brush, same size and everything, and we are going to start a little ways down from our middle point where the point of our diamond is. So a little ways down right on our line, start there, draw straight across, hold it down until it turns into a perfectly straight line, and then touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Make sure it's meeting up nicely with your right side, and then go ahead and let it go. Mine is poking out just a little bit here, so I'm going to click Edit at the top and just drag it in without messing up my horizontalness of my line. Okay, next we're going to make our moon shape. So we're going to do that first on a new layer, and then we'll combine them so that it's on this layer as well. So we'll go to our layer menu, we'll add a new layer. This is where we'll draw our circle or our moon. So same brush, same size, same color, everything like that. I didn't set this layer to linear burn because we are going to merge it with this layer below it, and then it will automatically be set to linear burn since that is what that layer is set to. So we'll just leave this one as normal for now. So same brush, same color, same size. And we are just going to draw a good sized circle right in the middle here. Hold down until it turns perfectly smooth, and then touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle. Set the size and then let it go. We can adjust the size and the placement of it a little bit more. So I'm going to click my arrow tool to select it, make sure it's set to uniform, and also make sure that snapping is turned on in the bottom left. And then we can resize it if necessary. Otherwise, we just want to make sure we're centered on both of our yellow lines here, so the vertical one and the horizontal one. That'll give us a nice chunk of our moon showing, so we're just cutting off the bottom like quarter of it, like so. I might make mine a little bit smaller and recenter it again. Okay, so I just wanted a little bit more room on the sides all the way around so that we can make our nice clouds and stars and everything. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. So now we are going to grab our eraser tool and just erase this bottom half. So since we're on a separate layer from our other lines, we can start erasing here, and it'll just cut off right where our other line is. I also have my eraser set to the monoline brush at 100%. So we'll just get rid of that bottom line there. And then we can go ahead and snap these layers together so that they're all on one layer. So on our layer menu, open that up, and we'll just snap these together with our fingers. And again, it is still set to linear burn as we would like. Okay, next up we're going to draw our clouds in the sky, and then we'll be able to fill the sky in and do our stars and stuff. So to add our clouds, we will again do that on a new layer. Again, we'll snap this with our other layer in a moment, so we will just leave it on normal. We'll use the same monoline brush. We are going to turn on the 2D grid feature, which we'll use more later in the video, but we also want to use it now so that we can get our clouds nice and horizontal. So to do that, we are going to go to our gear icon. Under Canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide again. It'll automatically show your symmetry lines, but then we want to do Edit Drawing Guide and switch it to the 2D grid. You don't need to adjust the size or anything, really just make sure that you can see the lines pretty well, and then go ahead and click Done. Okay, Now we are on our new layer, same color, same brush, and we are going to make some clouds in the sky. We'll drop the size of our brush to about 10%. And then essentially we're just going to pick a line to start on. So maybe I'll start on this one here, and I'm going to make a cloud on the left side, going up the left side. So I'm going to start further in on the line, like a little over halfway. And I'm going to start on the line, and I'm just going to draw some curvy shapes going towards the edge like this. And it's just going to get higher on the left side. And then again, we're going to start at that same one and make the bottom and do it kind of similarly, maybe a little more shallow. So that's why we wanted our lines, just so that we can kind of make sure that we're not like drawing our clouds really like tilted. We want them to be very straight. So this looks horrible because I suck at drawing horizontally like this. So I am going to turn my canvas because that is going to help me out a little bit better. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to draw some curvy lines going to the edge. Do the same thing on the bottom. Maybe a little bit more like horizontal, like so. But that's our first cloud. Then I will just turn it the other way and do another one. So I'll just go a little bit further down, maybe make a little bit bigger one, a little bit closer to my moon. So maybe on this line here. And again, I'll just draw the bottom one, pretty shallow, and then draw the top one, maybe going a little bit higher up to the edge. Okay, and then maybe we'll do one last one right around here. Another kind of small one. Like so. So those are my clouds. So if you need to redo any of them or move them around or anything, you totally can. That's why we drew these on a separate layer. So if you need to, you can use your selection tool on freehand with color fill turned off, and you can like select around one of the clouds, click the arrow tool, and then you can move it around. You can resize it. Just kind of do whatever you would like. I'm probably just going to leave mine as is, but feel free to make any changes. And then to get them to kind of blend in with our outline, we're going to erase this extra bit here on the edge of our clouds to make these cloud shapes look like an extension of our outline. So we're going to switch back to our outline layer, grab our eraser tool, again set to the monoline brush. I might just lower the size of it to like 50%. And I'm just going to start erasing until I can see where my cloud ends here. So I don't want to go any further than that. I will just kind of end it right there where my cloud meets it. And it's just kind of got a sharp edge here where you can even like round the edges off a little, whatever works for you. And then we'll just do the same thing on the other end. If you need to go back in with your brush at all on this layer to just kind of make the transition a little better, you can do that also. So that's good for that one. Now we'll go up to this one, switch back to my eraser. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, now we can go to our layer menu and we can snap these two layers together so that they're all on one layer again, and it is still set to linear burn. Okay, so now we want to fill in all this area around our clouds and our moon with black so that it looks like the night sky, and then we'll add some stars to it. And that will also help cover up the fact that these lines are not as thick as our other lines, because it will all just be filled in and it'll all just kind of melt together. However, we want to add our sky on a separate layer because to make our stars, we're going to use erasers so that we can still see our paper through it, and we don't want to erase any of our lines. So we want that to just be on its own layer so that our lines are left alone. So to do that, we are going to go to our layer menu, this layer 2 here with all of our lines on it. We are going to click on that and set it to a reference layer. We're going to add a layer above it. This is the layer that we're going to add our sky on. So go ahead and just drag and drop your gray color in that area there to fill it in. Make sure you don't have any white gaps on the edges where they meet up. If you do, what you need to do is just undo your fill-in. Go ahead and try it again. Hold your pen down on the screen this time and drag your threshold at the top here up a ways to get rid of those gaps. Okay, we also need to set this layer to linear burn like our other one so that we get our nice kind of blackish color with our paper texture showing through. So let's go ahead and do that. On our layer menu, click the N to open up our options here, slide it to linear burn. And now we are ready to start making our stars on this layer. So we're going to do a few different things to make our stars. So first we're going to make a couple shooting stars. So to do that, we're going to grab our eraser tool, open up the menu here, and we're going to set our eraser to the Studio Pen under the inking category. Go ahead and find that. Go ahead and set the size to like maybe 30% or so. We switch to this brush because it has a nice taper to it. And then so essentially if we're going to make one right here, we're going to start here, push down a good ways to get a nice like ball part of our star, and then just shoot off in a certain direction to make like a nice taper like so. Do it a little bit nicer than that. So you might have to redo it a few times till you get a good one. And then just feel free to go back in and kind of smooth things out a little if needed. So there is one shooting star. So maybe I'll do another one right here, going the other way. Something like that. And then I think I will just leave it with the two there. I don't really feel like I have enough room to really make any more anywhere else with our clouds and stuff, but that's okay. Two looks good. So then we're just going to make a few bigger stars with the same brush here. We're just going to go around and essentially just push a good amount until we get like a nice big star. You can kind of vary some of the sizes, make a few little smaller ones as well. Like so. Okay, and then to really make it look more like an ink drawing, like we did a bunch of stippling and stuff, we are going to switch to our stipple brush. So that is the brush that you should have downloaded. So we're first going to use it as an eraser here. So open up your eraser menu and find that brush wherever you saved it. We'll set the size first to like 40%. And first with this bigger size, we're just going to kind of like tap around more so. Don't do a bunch of dragging, but just kind of a few little taps or a few little drags just to get a few little stars of this size. And you can go all the way up to the edge. That's why we set this on a new layer that is not our outline layer. Okay, so just kind of all over like so. And then we're going to lower our size to maybe 25%. And now we're just going to make some more sections of this size. So this time we'll push a little bit more, and you can go all the way around like where some of your other stars are. That is fine. Go right up to the edges. We're just kind of adding some good sections of this. You might even just tap around a little bit in some of the other areas to just get a few, again, really small stars. So that we have a little bit less like full black space. So do as much or as little of that as you want. Go ahead and add some more bigger stars with your Studio Pen eraser if you need to as well. Otherwise, I'm going to leave mine there. The last thing that we're going to do though really quick is just add in a teeny tiny bit of black back in with our stipple brush on our shooting stars, the tails of them, to kind of make them look more galaxy-like and starry and fadey and stuff. So we are going to, be on our gray color like we are. Switch our brush now to the stipple brush, wherever you saved that, and set that to about 20%. And we're just going to go in and just kind of drag around the tails of our shooting stars, tap around even a little if you need to, just like that, just to get them to be a little bit more faded and kind of blend in with our sky a little better. So I'm kind of adding more at the very, very ends, less towards the front, so that the ends are more faded. Awesome. So that is it for our sky. So now we can move on to our water and our little like land chunks down at the bottom of our picture. So to do that, we are going to add a new layer on our layer menu. We're going to go ahead and click on this and set it to linear burn. We are going to go ahead and switch back to our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. Set the size to about 30%. And this is what we will use to draw our cliff sides. So we're going to start our first one on the left side here, pretty much right on our horizon line. So we're just going to start right there, and we're just going to come out and make some wavy lines like this essentially, and then come back into our edge. So we're going to draw that again, just a little bit better and smoother this time. Want it to go out a little further, and then we kind of just want it to end maybe like 2/3 of the way down, so we have room for another small one in the front here. In fact, I actually maybe even want it to be a little bit smaller than that, so I'm just gonna resize it down a little bit. So it'll maybe be actually about right here to leave some more room. So we really just want to cover about 2/3 from here to here at the very most. Then we'll draw another small one down here. Like so, almost looks like it's an extension of this one if this one like came back out. Okay, and then we'll draw one on the right side as well, kind of coming into this space here. Okay, if you happened to go outside of your lines at all, like I did right here, just go ahead and grab your eraser tool, set it to either the studio pen or the monoline brush, and just erase any little bits that are sticking past the edges of our diamond shape. Then we're going to go back in with our brush again, and we are going to essentially make the sides of the cliffs to make them look a little more 3D. So to do so, we are going to start, you would only see the bottom sides of the cliffs, so we'll do nothing on this top portion here, but right where it switches back this direction, we're going to just draw like a pretty much like a vertical line coming off of it, not too far down. And then from there, we're going to just kind of follow our shape a little bit, like so. And then I will maybe have this one end right here because then it kind of comes back out again. So then where it comes out again, I'll draw another vertical line and then have it again follow the shape going off to the side of our screen here, like so. So we'll do that with each of them. So same thing on this one and this one as well. So hopefully you had room to add those. If you didn't, you might need to go back and redraw your cliff sides. So again, make sure that you didn't go outside your diamond lines at all. If you did, go back in with your eraser and erase those so that we're staying within our shape. Okay, and now we're going to add the stippling texture to the tops of our hillsides, and we're also going to add some lines to add some texture and shading to the sides of our cliff sides as well. So let's just go ahead and add a new layer. Click on the end to set it to linear burn. Same color and everything, and we're going to first start with the stippling on the top of our cliff sides here. So go ahead and grab your stippling brush. We are going to have it at about 20%, and I'm just going to zoom in on these cliff tops and add a lot of stippling right near the edges. If you end up going like down into this space, that's okay, or out here, that's okay. We'll go back in with our eraser later, but we're just going to keep it really close to the edges, push down quite a bit, and go over it a few times to get it nice and dark on the edges there. At least on the bottom edges for the most part. We can get a little bit lighter when we get to these like top edges. Not doing quite as much, just a little bit. Okay, and then we don't want the rest of this to just be blank, so I'm just going to kind of more lightly add around it a little bit. Just like one good layer of like kind of lightly. Again, adding more close to the edges to kind of blend it together. Make it look like it's darker there. And then we're just going to kind of dot around a few times in the rest of this area, just so that it's not completely empty. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the others. So this one, again, we'll push, go over it a few times towards the bottom here to really darken this up. A little bit lighter around the edges at the top. And again, like another just like good layer all the way around. And then just dots. Okay. And then same thing down here. Bottom edge pretty heavy. And then we'll just make a few dots since this one's small. Just make sure to really focus on this bottom area to darken that bit up there. Okay, then we can go back in with our eraser now. So we'll just erase anything that's outside of our main lines. Make sure to check on the other side of the diamond as well. Okay, awesome. Now we're just going to stay on the same layer to draw our vertical lines to kind of add some shading to these other areas of our cliffs. So we are going to switch to our studio pen to do this. Set the size to about 10%. Again, depending on how hard or light you push down, you might want to adjust your size. But we will just zoom in on one of these areas here and we'll just kind of make quick vertical lines really close together. And they don't have to be perfectly vertical. They don't have to touch each side even. But keep them pretty vertical. And that's where it helps to have this guide on as well with our grid. And then again, if you went outside at all, go ahead and go back in with your eraser. I've kind of poked out on the bottom here and there. Okay. That is it for our cliffside. So next we are going to add all the lines to our water. So now we're going to turn on assisted drawing for our 2D grid so that we can get perfectly straight horizontal lines without having to hold them down every time and touch your finger to the screen. So we are just going to go back into our gear icon under canvas, click to edit the drawing guide. Leave the 2D grid on. You don't need to change anything there. The only thing we need to do is turn on assisted drawing at the bottom here. Go ahead and click done. And now this layer that we're on says assisted on it. And if you start drawing, you will see that it follows either a vertical or horizontal path wherever you start. So we are going to stay on the same layer here with all of our other details on it and add the water details on the same layer. So we are still going to be using the studio pen at 10% is good. And we are going to make the lines in the water thicker around the edges of our cliffs and this right edge of our screen as well to add some more definition over here. So let's just start there. So we'll start at this top right edge of our water. I'm just going to start on the very edge and draw inwards in horizontal motions. Again, pushing pretty hard, keeping them pretty close together, just kind of varying how far out they go, like so. Then I'm going to skip down to where this cliffside is, And I'm going to do kind of the same thing right around the base of it as far as I can, maybe touching this right cliff as well. Just don't go like into it like this, because we are on the same layer as our stippling, so we don't want to have to go in and erase that. So I'm just going to keep going all the way around the base of this cliff with our thick, heavy lines, again varying distances. Same thing at the base of this with whatever we can see down here. And then also at the base right here. And then we don't really have much room to add anymore here. We'll add some really, really small ones. But essentially we're just kind of having our lines almost meet in the center here, but not quite overlapping or anything. Okay, so now we're going to add some smaller lines to fill out the rest of it. So let's just drop our pen down to 5%. And we are just going to do them lighter and more sparse as well. So I'm just going to start up in the top here and just make some lines all throughout the water. Again, smaller, thinner, and then we'll add some down here as well. Some just small ones to fill in any other little gaps there. Okay, that looks awesome. So now we can go ahead and turn off our 2D grid. So go to the gear icon, click to turn off the drawing guide. Again, it is still active for this layer, so if you need to go back in now that the grid's off and add any more lines, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, the last thing is to add our sailboat. So we're just going to go to our layer menu, add a new layer, click on the end and switch it to linear burn. Same brush, same color. We'll increase our size to 10% again, and we're just going to make a sailboat. So I'm just going to first make a small horizontal line from left to right here, up in the middle of the moon, kinda. So draw a straight line, hold it down till it turns perfectly straight, and then touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Okay, then we'll draw a curved line from one side to the other, hold that down as well, till it turns perfectly smooth. And then go ahead and click edit at the top, and you can just make it line up nicely with the sides of our horizontal line here. And you can adjust the curve if you need to at all as well. Go ahead and just fill that in with your brush. Okay, now we're just going to draw the sail, and to do that we are just going to draw a line right in the middle, a vertical line this time. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. Then we're going to draw a nice big triangle off this. So I just drew the two lines and then I held them down and they snapped to perfectly straight lines. Go ahead and click the polyline at the top or triangle, whichever one pops up, and you can adjust them a little bit. Make that nice and horizontal on the bottom. And then go ahead and fill that in as well. Okay, and then to show the other sail, we are just going to draw another triangle right here. Hold that down with that little gap in the middle. Go ahead and click the polyline at the top or triangle, whatever pops up, and I'm just going to adjust this so that we have a nice, like, similar triangle shape with just the teeniest little bit of a gap in between it and the original pole with the triangle, but same length and everything, same horizontal line on the bottom. And fill that in as well. And that is our sailboat. So it's a little bit big and it's not sitting on our horizon line, so I'm just going to click my arrow tool on uniform, downsize it a teeny bit, place it on the horizon line here. I don't think I'm going to center it on my screen. I think I'm going to have it just be a little bit to the right on our moon, just to kind of fill in more space here since we have like the two big cliffs over here and we just have this one small cliff over here. I think I'll place it to the right a little just to kind of even out the whole picture. So that is the last step of our drawing. So with our sailboat in place, that is it for our drawing today. So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!